other sites. Here we go. All right, we are live everywhere. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are talking today about how to take risks. How to take risks. And I will give a heads up. I hope the audio is okay on Instagram. I just got back from a trip to Florida for our 50K Club retreat, and I cannot find my tripod for the life of me. So we're doing it tripodless today. We got the phone kind of propped, and I'm hoping we're good. Marshita, oh my goodness, it's so good to see you. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, if you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, pop me a comment. That is how I know you're here. But so good to see you today. And again, we're talking today about how to take risks. And this topic was inspired by the retreat actually that I just came back from hosting. We were in Rosemary Beach, Florida, and it was for our 50K Club members. And those are women who are already at the 6-figure level. They're looking to expand to multiple 6 or 7 figures. Oh, hello. Is it Loe? I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Either way, so good to see you. Travis on LinkedIn. Hello, hello. And so a lot of the conversation with this group was around expansion. And what does expansion look like for you? And I will say a lot of the things that I teach and a lot of the work that I do with my clients is around more of the inner game. It's the mental game, because I find that a lot of the clients I work with, they're great at taking the action. They're great at pushing and hustling in that game, but they're doing it from an energy of separation from their goals. They're doing it from an energy of not enoughness. They feel like they're in burnout and in overwhelm. So there's almost like a recalibration process that we have to do when clients first enter our community. So a lot of that beginning work is around the inner work, whether it's helping you realign your subconscious beliefs, helping you release money blocks, all these kind of hidden things that we don't realize are what are really holding us back. And as we do that, there is still action that's required towards our goals. It's just part of how it works in our world, right? Karen, hello. Nancy, hello. We're talking today about taking risks. And so the whole second day of this retreat was really around, what does it look like to take risks? And for my clients, and you can let me know in the comments if you relate to this, or if you feel like this is you, but I find for my clients, like, they're action takers. They're ambitious people. They take big action. And for a lot of them, they have superseded what they ever saw demonstrated growing up, or they've superseded the level of success in their friend circle. And so there's this next level of expansion and action that's required to continue growing, but it can feel risky and it can feel scary if you've never seen anyone do it before, if you've never seen it modeled for you, at least not close up. So let me know if you can relate to this. Hey, Brooke, how are you? And so this was really a lot of this conversation in the second day of the retreat, which was, how do we keep pushing the boundaries with the action that we take? And how do we keep taking what can feel like a risk at an even bigger level as we continue to expand? And so I want you to just check in right now in your own life. And this could be in your sales, this could be in your career, it could be in your life. Like, what is it? And you know what it is. Here's what the thing, I know you know what it is. What is it that you want to do that feels like a risk? What is it that you want to do that feels like a risk? And just check in with that. And if you feel comfortable sharing it in the comments, I'd love to know, or give me a heart if you know what it is. Just think about it. Is it reaching out to a prospect? Is it investing in a coach or a mentor? Is it moving to a new city? What is that thing, though, that feels like a risk? And just check in with it. Jeremy Todd, you're the best. Oh, it's so good to see you. Oh my gosh, I love it. So there's a part of the book U Squared by Price Pritchett that is, to me, that speaks directly to this. Oh, thank you for the heart on Facebook, Michelle. Thank you. By the way, Jen on Instagram, so good to see you. And this is really what we talked about at the retreat, where Price says, ask yourself what you're risking if you do not go for the quantum leap. The risk is that you won't get what you really want out of life. You've got to understand that you can never escape risk. So you can never escape risk. It's not something you can decide to live with or without. Something is always at stake, right? Which is true. He says you can only decide which risks to take. Whether you choose to go for the quantum leap or to follow your usual routines, you're putting something on the line. So choose carefully and don't kid yourself with the idea that playing it safe by living with the status quo gives you the best odds. That may be the surest way of losing. And I don't know about you, but when I read that, it hit me. And I know it hit the women at the retreat too. And I'm just going to pause and read about, let's see, Brooke is saying, the risk is reaching out to people who I know would be aligned clients, fear of rejection. Okay, so I want you to, oh my gosh, first of all, there's a whole solo podcast episode, Brooke, that's coming out next week where I dive deeper into fear of rejection. So listen to that on She Sells Radio if you're not subscribed yet, because it speaks directly to that. But thank you for sharing that, because that's often the thing that holds us back, especially in sales, right? It's that fear of rejection. But what you have to look at is you have to flip it on its head and look at, what am I risking by not going for it? What am I risking by not going for it? And I'll share just a quick personal example. If you've followed me for any amount of time, you know that recently we went out and we bought this RV, and it's a big one, and it was an investment. And there was part of me that was like, ooh, like this is stretchy. And it was a chunk of money. But what I looked at, so in that way, was it a risk? Sure. But when I looked at it and flipped it on its head and said, well, what am I risking by not going for it? It was this, I had the desire for it because I had the desire to make memories with our young son. And I had desires to make memories as a family. And it was like, well, I'm actually risking not making those memories in my life. And when you take that and you compare that to a little pile of money, it's like, oh my gosh, right? Like it gets very clear which risk we want to take, but we've got to flip it on its head. Michelle on Facebook is saying, I'm so happy I took this new risk. I had nothing to lose, everything to gain, right? And so we have to look at it though. What are you risking by not going for it? And I'm just going to share a few tips here that to me will help you take action on those things that feel like risks in a more empowered energy. So that's the first thing, is flip it on its head. What are you risking by not going for it? The second thing you can do is look at, when have you risked something and then had something really positive happen? Which I know you have, right? Because really everything great, tell me if this is not true. Give me a heart or let me know in the comments. Is this not true? That everything that's really great that's happened in your life, there was some element of risk in it, right? Like I can't think of anything that's really great that's happened in my life where I've been like, yes, like, oh my gosh, mountaintop moment where I didn't have to risk something, where I didn't have to get out of my comfort zone. So but our brain forgets that. It very conveniently forgets that when it's time to do that outreach to those prospects, right? Or, make that career move. Or invest in that thing or person you want to invest in. So we have to remind our brain that every time I take a risk, every time I do something that stretches me, something good happens. It's either I get what I wanted and I got what I was going for, or I learned and I grew and I became the person who's now going to be able to have the thing that I want. So that's all that can really happen there. It's one or the other. So there's really the only risk is not having what you really want out of life. Michelle, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's like, but I've got to do this every day too, right? Because we still have that animal part of our brain that tells us to stay secure and safe, and we've got to know that that's what's really going on, and know that's trying to hold us back. So you look at, when have you risked something and had something really positive happen? The next thing to help you take greater risks is, I want you to start evaluating your goals and the things you're taking action on as, is this worthy of my life? Is this goal worthy of my life, of me? Because as Bob Proctor said, you are trading your life for your goals, right? Whatever the goal is, you're trading your life for it. So it might as well be worthy of that time in your life that you're going to spend going for it. So is it worthy of me? Another thing that Price Pritchett says is, if you're experiencing no anxiety or discomfort, the risk you're taking probably isn't worthy of you. So I'll say that again. If you are experiencing no anxiety or discomfort, The risk that you're taking probably is not worthy of you, my friend. So stop thinking about it like, am I worthy of this? Start thinking about it like, is this worthy of me? Is this worthy of my life? And anything that is worthy of you or your life is it's gonna stretch you. It's gonna push the limits. You're gonna feel some discomfort. You're gonna feel some anxiety, but we've got to learn to start looking at that as a green light rather than letting it hold us back. It's almost like this proving ground, like this, like it's like, do you really want it? Right? Do you really want it? If so, you're going to need to move through that anxiety and discomfort because what you want is on the other side. The key is to not let it stop you. And I know that right now this it sounds good, it sounds rah rah, but I want you to really dial it in and make it specific to something this week. So if you're watching this in real time, it's the start of the week. Whenever you're watching this, you can still apply it, right? If you're watching it in real time, though, it's the start of the week. You've got something on your plate that feels risky. I know you do. And I want you to take these principles and apply them to that very specific thing to help you move through it. And I want you to, what I would love is take the action on it and then report back to me. Send me a DM. Let me know what happens, or do a post on social and tag me. Let me know what happened when you move forward on this. And so just remember, is it worthy of my life? Because anything that is, it's going to feel risky. It's going to feel chancy. And that's how you know you're on the right step and on the right path. So with that, I'll close with two things. We have got so many great just recaps and great content coming out this week about the retreat, about this whole topic of expansion. So stay tuned on my social. I think especially on Instagram is where we're putting it out. I'm at Elise Archer if you're not connected with me on Instagram yet. And if you are, then you know where to find me. But we're going to have so many great behind the scenes highlights from the retreat. You'll see behind the scenes of our private chef dinner, of our private yoga session out on the beach. That was a really beautiful experience, and just a lot more content around expansion, which is really what I'm excited about helping you do right now. Expand in all areas, financially, sales, and otherwise. And then next week, we've got a great podcast episode dropping that's all about expansion and some more things like we were talking about today, overcoming the fear of rejection. So stay tuned for that on She Sells Radio. And then finally, if you're not registered for this week's live coaching intensive, go to elisearcher.com/6figures, elisearcher.com/6figures. It's this Wednesday, if you're watching in real time, this Wednesday. And I am going to be just pouring my heart into you to help you get everything you need to expand to six figures or beyond in your sales, in your career. You can take the principles and apply it to help you scale to multi 6 or 7. So come hang regardless of where you're at financially, but it's really, really powerful content. And I don't teach it live very often. And so it's a great opportunity to get in. So elisearcher.com/6figures. So good to be with you. If you were here live, if you're watching the replay, hey, so good to be here with you in that way too. Send me a DM. Let me know how I can be of service to you. And again, go out there this week, take that risk. Let me know what happens. And remember, you are worth it, my friend. All right. Lots of love. Take care. Bye for now.